Welcome to Lipstick Attitude, hosted by Dr. Elizabeth King, psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, author, and motivational speaker, specializing in trauma and women's mental health, and Yvonne Haas, psychotherapist and coach specializing in relationships, couples, and women's issues. This show is your dose of inspiration, information, and laughter. In each episode, Dr. King and Yvonne bring you hacks, tips, and inspiring stories to help you live a successful life. So ladies, grab your lipstick. It's time to do this. The Lipstick Attitude podcast is powered by Suit Stilettos and Lipstick Foundation, a nonprofit movement to empower women and children from all walks of life to be resilient, self-confident, and purposeful leaders through education, mentorship, and community outreach. To learn more, visit sslwomen.org. Please note that this show is intended to empower and educate. It is not meant to be utilized as a substitute for individual therapy.
Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, because our guests are in the other part of the world. So it's afternoon for you and morning for us. Good morning, good morning. I'm Dr. Elizabeth King, and this is the Lipstick Attitude with my co-host Yvonne Haas. And we have amazing guests, which Yvonne will introduce you in a minute. But good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon. Is everybody awake? Are you all awake? It's afternoon in Wales. Come on.
I'm sure by now you've had plenty of coffee.
Come on. Yes. If not, get some coffee or whiskey if that's what you need. It doesn't matter. Let's get it going. Good morning, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. We're so excited today to have two special guests. It's the first time we're doing two guests at one episode. So today will be a little bit interesting for us and a little bit challenging on the technology. And you know how talented we are in the technology world, right, y'all? Yeah, Yvonne, you know.
I'm a pro.
You're the pro.
So if you have any questions, please just let me know.
No, don't let her know because she'll cry like a baby. Send the email to, someone else. we really don't want to know.
Someone in IT.
Our IT department is non-existent. Yeah. So anyways, I think I've had too much coffee. I feel a little giddy. Hopefully I'll be contagious in this energy because I feel like, woo,
or contained. One or the other.
No contained.
Come on. Okay. You sound like my daughter when she was 3. No, mommy, no contained.
No contained. I am not being contained. It's the holiday season and I want to just celebrate. So, well, with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Yvonne because apparently I am being contained by somebody you know. You know who.
Oh, right. Because that's the other thing I'm good at, technology and containing you. Yep, those two things. Add them to my resume. All right, well.
We're making Aista and Shona just crack up about our craziness.
They're like, sorry we got on this show this morning.
We didn't realize that these two women were going to be this crazy. Fun.
It's really the same thing.
Yeah, it's
all
fun.
Right, I'm taking over. So we have the two ladies from Penderyn Whiskies. Aista loves what she does at Penderyn and values the opportunity to build on the legacy from Dr.Swan and to continue his passion for whiskey creation. Everyone at Penderyn has a passion for creating Welsh spirit. It inspires her when their customers enjoy their work and when their whiskeys receive good reviews and win awards. They have more than 12,000 casks of maturing whiskey now, and they all have to be assessed by Aista and her team, so it's a busy job. That sounds like the ultimate job of taste testing, my friend.
Yeah.
So we don't want to hear your victim story right now because that sounds much more fun than my current job. Okay, so Shona Traynor
I volunteered to go help her.
You stop. You have a job and you just stay in your house in Fort Lauderdale, lady.
Darn it, she's the party pooper. This one here.
All right.
Party pooper.
Stop it. Shona Traynor works as a brand ambassador for Penderyn Distillery. From starting as a tour guide of the distillery, she has developed a great understanding of the unique production process that takes place at Penderyn Distillery, as well as knowing the range in depth. She now splits her time between overseeing the accounts of some of the Penderyn Distillery's European export partners, as well as hosting events and leading tasting sessions overseas. And we know that firsthand because these lovely ladies were our sponsor for Women, Whiskey, and Men in the Hot Seat event for our Suit Stilettos and Lipstick Foundation. We had so much fun. We got these cute vials of 5 different types of whiskey. And they took us through this beautiful, extensive history and how it's done. And, not to mention the fact that this is these are women running this right now, which makes it even more spectacular for us. And I think they did this, the whole demonstration and led us through the tasting. And it was 1 o'clock in the morning in Wales for you guys. And they were still awake and friendly, which would not be the opposite if I have to do something at 1 o'clock in the morning here for you guys. I'm just going to put it out there. So super, super excited and super happy to have you lovely ladies. And are we ready to answer some questions? We're excited to interview you.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. So excited. Women in Whiskey. Wow, what an episode and what a title for an episode, huh? Women in Whiskey. If all of you are not sitting down taking notes through this whole thing, I don't know what you're doing. So get it together and make sure you write down their information, their contact information at the end, because you're going to want to try it.
We should have saved some of those kits and had a tasting
Yeah,
at
do
9:47 this morning. Would have made for some great therapy sessions later this afternoon, let me tell you. Although I did find where I can purchase your whiskeys, literally it could be a bike ride distance from my house. Is so super cool.
A little dangerous right there, a little dangerous, but you get your exercise while you're getting your whiskey.
Well, I'm burning off the calories.
Exactly.
And then I've already burned, I can have a couple of tastings myself.
All good.
What we would like to know, ladies, is first, what attracted you ladies to get into the whiskey business? How'd you get there?
Aista, do you want to go?
Yeah, to be honest, I truly accident. Never ever thought that I'm going to be in the whiskey industry. My degree is chemical engineering, and I finished uni back home. But when I came to UK, I worked in a research lab, which we were doing really great project. Getting galantamine from the daffodil juice, and they were saying, oh, it's a Welsh gold, it's brilliant, it's really good research. But sadly, with credit crunch and everything, a lab gone to administration. So I was looking for jobs and thinking that distillery should have a lab, and that's where I'm gonna apply for a job. I sent that letters just not just in the Penderyn Distillery and other places as well. And I had a phone call from our MD, Steve Davis, and asking for come for the chat, and the rest is a history. I ended up being in Penderyn Distillery. Of course, started slowly as I knew about whiskey, I knew about distillation as it was from university, and of course, a part-time I worked in the catering, so the whiskey was around. But to think that I will be making it, I never ever. So I started working and learning from Dr.Swan, and I got into it, and I just got like a passion. It's another Welsh gold. I was in the lab creating Welsh gold, and came to the distillery making the Welsh gold.
Well, chemical engineering, alcohol's kind of a chemical like that.
Yeah, well, the distilling process is what I was studying, really, the whole chemistry, and is into my degree. But
interesting.
Like getting into the industry for the girl after just fresh uni is not really very easy. So I never thought that I'm gonna be in like industry, and more was the lab job, kind of. So that's why it's really great being here and making a great product.
That's awesome. Shona, what about you?
I am the same in the sense that I got into the whiskey industry completely by accident as well. I basically decided to get a job at a distillery because I needed a little bit of money whilst I was finishing grad school, and decided to become a tour guide and learn about the process. Like, my dad was very into sort of alcohol. He's a trained sommelier, so I kind of learned a lot about the alcohol industry growing up, and I was like, well, I kind of already know a bit about the industry, so I can work with that and hopefully enjoy it and get a little bit of money. And then, yeah, I fell in love with the industry and decided that actually this is a really interesting industry. I enjoy the products, I enjoy the culture that comes with the industry as well, and could really see myself excelling in the industry as well. And you get to meet some wonderful people all over the world in my job as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering how hard has it been to establish yourself as women in this industry? Because, you know, when you think about whiskey, you really don't think about women. But now that's changing. Obviously, you're helping to pioneer that. But how hard was it to get into it?
Definitely. I mean, from my point of view, I've got two things which go against me massively, is my gender and my age. When you're in a room leading a tasting of 40, 50 middle-aged men and older, and they see a young girl trying to explain a man's drink to them, they're not particularly au fait with it. But I found, as long as I know I'm confident and express what I'm talking about, and I know what I'm talking about, the respect eventually comes, but it takes time.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Aista, what about you?
Yeah, definitely is. I think the whole perspective, the whole view is changing. It's changing dramatically, and there is more and more women is getting not just brand ambassadors, distillers, or the marketing, and everywhere really. And even in Penderyn, we've got quite the distilling team is all female team. There's 3 of us. And the same with the brand ambassadors and the marketing directors, the ladies. So it's totally changing, and I think the view is changing as well. But at the beginning, yeah, it's kind of like Shona said, it's a man's world, and really it's like it's more kind of image, old gentleman there with a cigar by the fireplace. It's kind of like it's not the ladylike a lot at all. But no, it's well, for me to get into Penderyn, it wasn't difficult. I guess I mentioned it was really accident, and they took me in open arms, because the lady which was before Gillian, she went to Glamorgangie. So I think Penderyn, well, the view was totally different in Penderyn towards that. But getting into industry as a factorist itself, or the woman is a bit difficult. And I remember when I finished the uni, I was looking for jobs, and I went to one place. Of course, when you're going for an interview, you're dressing as smart. You don't put the dirty jeans on yourself. So I had the jacket and black trousers, went for an interview. Director who was interviewing me looked up and down, and he said, "Do you really need that job?" I said, "Well, I'm applying for a job." Yeah, sadly, 5 minutes ago, I came back from the shop floor, and you should have seen my shoes. I cleaned them now. Well, my receptionist is leaving. Would you like her job?
Oh my!
Wow!
I'm like, really? So yeah, so it's that kind of attitude was for a long time going, but I think it's changing. I think it's going to better way, and is the view is not the same as it was. it still is sometimes. Then, like Shona mentioned, that they coming to a distillery and the old gentleman knowing everything, and this here is the girl saying, "Well, actually, I put the batch together," and it's like, really?
Questioning. I have to backtrack a little bit and ask the question. How did you respond to that gentleman that asked you if you would take a receptionist job? Because
I said no. I came to apply for the engineer's job, not receptionist. He said, "Okay, I'll get in touch." Obviously, he never did.
Wow.
Well, that was obviously his loss for sure.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
So I have to ask, did you ladies like whiskey before you got involved with Penderyn? Were you whiskey drinkers?
I'll be perfectly honest, I don't think I'd ever tried any type of whiskey which was of any quality. You know, I probably tried things that you find at the back of the cupboard when you're young, but nothing of any good quality. So the first ever single malt I ever tried was Penderyn in the end, and it hooked me. And now I have a little collection going on at home.
Oh, awesome. How about
Yeah,
you?
I did work in the catering and behind the bar, so I did try a few, but I'm not a big drinker anyway. And I think before learning about it and starting working, I had totally different view about all the drinks. Spirit drink was spirit drink. It's like shots, cocktails, and nothing less. But then you learn about it and you start looking different. You notice different flavors. You know the background, how it's made, and it just you drink and you respect the drink itself differently.
Yeah. This is true, because when you did the demo for us and we went through the tasting, it was so unique to really focus on the different flavors that were, you know, hints of it that I never had, you know, been able to identify before. And you were so complete in your description and how it was made and why it tasted the way it was, that honestly, I was in awe of all the information. And everybody that came to that event to this day are talking about that event and how informative you were with all of the information that you shared with us. Who knew? That's what I kept saying. Who knew all of this actually existed behind the scene? But it was very interesting, and I loved it. And you know, of course, there were some that were my favorites, but all of them had such unique flavors, and I never would have been able to identify it until you taught us how to do it. It's like, you know, drinking a fine wine. You know, it really is equivalent to that. So
I had no idea that there were so many different flavors in whiskey, and my husband kept saying, "Don't drink anymore, save that rest for me." By the end, after my tastings, I look over and he's had like 5 essentially, you know, glasses of whiskey there. And I was like, okay, you're going to need a nap pretty soon. So what is the style of Penderyn whiskey?
Shona?
Yeah, sure. So it's very light, it's very soft, it's very fruity, and a little bit of sweetness to it as well. Because we have a very unique method of distillation, it creates a very unique type of spirit, which is very light and sweet and soft, versus maybe your traditional Scotch whiskey, shall we say, which is much more full-bodied and a lot heavier. So by having this sort of lighter spirit, it works quite well if you're trying to get into whiskey. It's a really good like introduction into the whiskey world for you to be able to then build on that and explore wider whiskies from the industry then.
Yeah, like we saying that's the smoothest whiskey on earth.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Like Shona mentioned,
in all of my whiskey tastings, it certainly is.
Now, we got the unique Faraday still, which letting us distill at really very high ABV, and that's really very clean fruity spirit. of course, we're taking our water as well from the borehole, which is fresh and clean. And all that combination is giving really very light and smooth.
So which products are you most proud of? I mean, I know we've tasted 5, but I think, was that the extent of your inventory, or do you have other ones as well?
We got more than 5.
All right, we need to do a review.
Behind me.
Oh, wow. Okay, field trip. I'm volunteering. Yvonne, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, look at that. Oh my gosh.
Let's go.
What? Oh
yeah,
my
I
goodness.
think the most, I'm the proud most of it, and it had really lots of good reviews, and is selling really well as well. It's our latest icon, Rhiannon. I think why I'm proud about it, because I learned from Dr.Swan, and until he passed away, which is 3 years ago, we always worked together, and I learned, and I put the batches, and he approved, and that we still work together. I asked a lot of questions, where this one, it was like my creation. Is my idea to put different flavors together, and because it had the good reviews and results of it, I'm really proud.
Well, congratulations. What is it called? What is it?
It's Rhiannon, and it's Grand Cru and the sherry finished whiskey.
Wow, I'm gonna have to try that one. I don't think we tried that one, right?
No.
No. Okay. Is it available in the US?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay? So
you
definitely
have
we're
to
going
come on
into
a field
Wales.
trip.
Yeah, you
Field
definitely need to
trip.
come over.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. Well, congrats on creating that. That's awesome.
It's a beautiful bottle as well, and a beautiful whiskey on the inside.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice design of the label, and I think we had the awards of it as well.
Yeah, had design awards, which is great.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh wow, congrats.
So, ladies, has COVID impacted your business? I mean, here in the U.S., alcohol consumption has increased by something like what they say, like 75%.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that.
Yeah, something crazy like that. So, how has COVID, and if it has, how has it impacted you guys?
It certainly has impacted us. We have our visitor centre, which has been closed for the majority of the pandemic. So that's normally quite a big business for us, and a lot of us, we do a lot of work for export markets as well. So those pretty much dried up once the pandemic started. But luckily we have had the same trend where people have been drinking more at home. So our sales in the UK supermarkets have gone through the roof. They're a lot greater than they normally are. So thank you for people drinking at home. And we've also adapted our production method. So we actually started creating hand sanitizer for our health service. Using the alcohol that we normally use to make whiskey, we converted that and added in a few extra chemicals to make that into an alcohol hand rub, which has been really helpful. Requested by our Welsh health service. So that's been really nice. And we've been adapting as well. You guys have been on one of our virtual tastings, so trying to get as much whiskey to people. We have very much a product that needs to be tasted to be appreciated. It's not something that people would necessarily pick up off the shelf because they know it already. So by having these virtual tastings, we can kind of bring the whiskey into people's homes. We're normally very reliant on whiskey festivals and shows to introduce people to the brand. So by able to bring it into the home, they can experience that then without having to worry about driving afterwards.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a win-win for sure.
Definitely.
We invited you ladies to our show, and I know that maybe you're wondering why, because you're talking about whiskey. We're a women's empowerment organization, and what is the correlation between that? And I want to explain that we feel that by you paving the way in this very uncharted territory is a message for women that you can be in any field that you want to be. It doesn't matter. And even though there are those people, men specifically, that are asking you if you want a receptionist job when you're a chemical engineer, that we can stand up to that and say no. Not that there's anything wrong being a receptionist, and we should embrace that as well, but that we have a value in every place that we stand as women. And we wanted to really highlight you both and congratulate you both for doing the work that you're doing. It really sends a message loud and clear, especially to younger women that are looking for other career paths. And so I want to ask you the question, what would you like a message to be for any woman, young woman out there listening to you right now?
I think is if you have the goal, don't give up. Just go for it. If you want to be a president, just go for it. You will be one day. And just not give up, and don't be disappointed if at one stage it'll turn you down. Just go again and don't give up.
Definitely. Yeah. I would say exactly, persistence is key. Don't give up, and be yourself. Don't be afraid to be yourself. You're not going to be everybody's cup of tea. So just be yourself, be true to yourself, and you'll be proud with whatever you do.
You may not be everybody's cup of tea, but you will certainly be somebody's shot of whiskey. I'm telling you right now.
I need that on the poster.
You better write that down. I think that may be a good tagline for you, ladies.
Exactly.
There you go. And there's your bonus for coming on the show today.
I love it. We always end our programs with two elements. One of them being me asking, what would you hope your legacy will be? And I know that you both are very young and creating your legacy as we speak, but it's so important for women to recognize their value, and that the work that they're doing now will be forever lasting, whether you're in the whiskey business for the rest of your life or in any other area. So what would you like your legacy to be? Let's start with you, Shona.
Oh, I would say that it would just be so nice for everyone to be able to feel that they can be themselves and stay true to themselves, and that no matter whatever you want to do, that you're doing what makes you happy. And that's very much what I want to do for myself. So I would hope that other people would feel empowered to do that for themselves too.
Oh, I love that. Aista?
Yeah, well, I hope that being known in the whiskey industry, and there's more younger generation coming in, that I'll be inspiration and as an example that you can start from the bottom and go a bit higher. Not that I'm a super known, but I know I'm not a celebrity yet.
But you're on your way.
You are on your way.
But no, it's for me it was this year. No, not this. Yeah, this year, just before all the pandemic started in March, I was in Germany, and I never ever had that feeling that people were coming and asking to sign every bottle of Penderyn, and I'm like, I'm not that popular, I'm not famous. No, yeah, we know you, and that's great feeling, really. And I think that I would like that someone else coming into it would feel that as well, and that they would look up and say that, oh, they can do it. If I can do it, they can do it.
Oh, I love that. I love your message, both of you. That's awesome. Thank you.
All right. So, and for our listeners, and we're going to put this in the show notes, just so everyone knows, the distillery is opened and producing, but please let us know how our listeners can find you. in order to place their orders?
Oh yeah, sure. So we have a great export team into the US who are Impex Beverages. So if you check out their website, they'll be able to help you find a supplier of any of our products, hopefully, and that'll be local to you. And we're in the majority of states now in the US, so hopefully it'll be near you somewhere. But if you want any more information about the products, we have our website, which is penderyn.wales, which is PENDERYN.wales.
That's awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much. You've been amazing guests, and I know that you have inspired some women that are listening, and you've certainly inspired me and Yvonne with your story. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having
us. We're duplicating.
I love it. I love it. Are you less, I want to ask you quietly, are you less nervous now that we did the show?
Yeah.
See, it's just girl talk. We're real people, and we just want to share great messages with women out there that may need an inspirational story just to keep them going. So that's what we're about, inspiring women to create their own legacies. So let's go ahead and whip out your lipstick, ladies. This is how we end our show every single time. We put on our lipstick attitude because this is our war paint. This is what reminds us that we can get out there and face the world, that we're strong, resilient, powerful, super women, and that nothing can stop us. Only we can propel ourselves to achieve what we are put on this earth to achieve. So don't let anyone stop you. Thank you so much again. And I'm sure we'll be talking again because we'll be doing another whiskey tasting, and we will be doing a field trip to Wales.
Amazing.
Yes.
We look forward.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you so
ladies.
much. Thank you.